In this new tutorial, we're going to be working on the front nose of our jet. This section right here, it's called the cockpit. Alright, so let's get down to it. So to create that, we're going to need a cylinder. So we can press Shift A to access this menu, and we can go to Mesh, and let's add a cylinder. So on the bottom left, we're going to have this tab. So I want you to click on it, and I want you to set the number of vertices to just 16. It's going to be 32 by default. Set it to 16, just so that it's going to be manageable to edit. So on the edit mode, we can spin this object. So RX can spin it by 90 degrees. Press enter, and we can press G to move it, and let's move it all the way to the front. So I'd like to have the center of the cylinder aligned with this pointy start of our jet, something like that. Next, we can press Z and switch to the wireframe, and we can select the front of our cylinder, and we can simply scale it way down. After that, we can take the right side and move it here to form this shape. And after that, we can just scale this part down while move it a little bit up. Okay, so the next step is going to be to check if this object is at the right location. So I'm going to press 1 to jump to the front orthographic, and we can zoom back. As you can see, it's off track, so we can select our cylinder and move it to the right side until it matches with the reference image. Alright, so let's press 3 to go to the side, and let's carry on. I'd like to select this edge line, and we can extrude all the way to the second portion of our airplane here. After that, we can press S to scale it up, and let's move it up here. We can also press 1 to go to the front, and as you can see, it's perfectly matching the reference image edge line. So let's press 3, and also here we need to add extra edge loops, so Control R here. You can scale it up like this. So I'm going to select again this portion, and I'm going to extrude it all the way to this third portion of our airplane. You can scale it up and move it up like this. Perfect. Same thing here, we can take this vertex, try to move it a little bit backward. Something like this is perfect. Alright, so let's exit that mode, and let's double check the shape. We can do right click and shade auto smooth to have it perfectly smooth. Alright, so the next step is gonna be to extrude this portion again. So we can press Z, switch again to the wireframe, and we can extrude, press E, Y, and let's go all the way to this portion here. So this is this third or the fourth portion of our airplane. So what we need to do right here, we can select these vertices, drag them up like this. Same thing here, we can take this one up, and in the middle we can insert the first edge loop. Let's put it, for example, over here, and the second one here. Alright, so next we can select these two edge lines, drag them up. Same thing here, let's take these up like this. Here at the middle, we can press Ctrl R, and we can drag these 2 points upward like this. Alright, so let's take a look at the shape from the outside. Okay, it looks good. So now we're going to be adding a new modifier. So let me explain. So if you go to the top, if you press 7, go to the top, you're going to see that the airplane is symmetrical, which means that this side is the same as the other one. It's inverted. So what we can do, we can use the mirror modifier and only work on one side. So let's select our progress right now. On the edit mode, we can press Z, switch to wireframe. We can delete one side. I'm going to delete the left side. X, delete those vertices. Let's zoom in here. You can delete these vertices again. You can exit the edit mode. And we can add, let's go to the modifier properties, and let's add the mirror modifier. This one right here. So we need it to be on the x-axis. So it's already on the x. So we have it here. So the problem that we got right now is the center of origin is here at the center here. So we should change the center of origin from this point to here, to this edge line. Any point on this edge is gonna work. So let's use this one, for example. So we can select this point, Shift S, cursor to select it. We can exit the edit mode, go to the object, set origin, and origin to the 3D cursor. Okay, we got it. So if we press Z and switch back to the solid, we're gonna have the mirror working 100%. So if you apply any change to the right side, so that same change is gonna be applied to the left side. Alright, so let's carry on. So on the side here, I'm gonna press Z, switch to the wireframe. I'd like to align these vertices with this edge line of our reference image. So let's take this one, move it up here, and continue like this. Okay, for this one, can take it up. Let's use the move tool to move things perfectly. Something like that seems to be fine. All right, so now it's time to make our cockpit looks more interesting. So what I suggest first doing is to add the subdivision surface modifier. So in the modifier properties, you can add a new modifier. It's gonna be the subdivision surface modifier. Okay, so now we're having more of those vertices. They are duplicated, which makes our cockpit looks fine, looks good. So what we need to do next is to kind of define the edge line of our window, the cockpit window. So let me just show you this line. But also what we can do, we can, for example, lift this part up. Let's lift it like this to make this new edge line. Works best with our reference image. All right, so I'm gonna hide the subdivision surface modifier for just now. You can click on this screen here to hide it, and on the edit mode. And after that, we can switch to the face mode, and we can select these faces. You can press Shift and left click to select them all. You can press I to create an inset, and we can drag it just a little bit down like this. And after that, we can move it down. So we can move it here just a bit down like this. We can press Shift to go real slow. After that, I want you to delete these extra faces. X, and let's delete them. We're not gonna need them anyway. And what we need to do, we need to move these edges to the left side. So we're having this problem here. So we can go beyond the center point. So we can go back to the mirror modifier, and we can check the clipping so that we can stop right at the center. And also we can check the subdivision. We can make it visible. Okay, so we have a problem here. So this edge line, it's not defined. So it's kind of smoothed out once we use the subdivision modifier. So how can we fix this problem? So on the edit mode, I'm going to show you a quick trick to do it. So let's select, we can be on the edge mode. I want you to select those edges that you want to highlight. All of them. You can press Alt, Shift Alt to select them all. Same thing here, Shift Alt. Right, and we can press Ctrl E and click on Edge Crease. You can click, and on the bottom I want you to increase this factor to 1. So that edge line turned to be red. So now if we bring back the subdivision surface modifier, you can see that that edge, it's gonna be highlighted. It looks really nice. You can also increase, if you want to have higher details, we can increase the level viewport to 2. So the last move that I'd like to perform is to add those cuts on front, this cut here, and the second cut right here. So on the edit mode, let's start, let me check. We have this edge line here. So you can select this edge line, we can try to bevel it just a little bit. So Ctrl B to bevel it just a bit. So you can press Shift to slow down this movement. Something like this can be fine. You can click, left click. Let me just get rid of this edge line. And next I want you to extrude it. So you can press E to extrude. You can do right click to cancel this movement. And I want you to scale it on the inside. So you can press Alt S. Let me go to the inside and do it. So Alt S. And let's go like this. So I'm using the Alt S. So I'm doing the Alt S instead of just S to make the scaling down even. All right, so the next move, it's gonna be to grab. You can press Alt to select this line, Shift, select the second line. And let's go on the inside, Shift. We need to select them all. Okay, all of those edges. And we can press Ctrl E and click on Edge Crease. Click and increase this factor to 1. All right, so now if we go back to the solid, so you're gonna see that we're gonna be having this perfect cut in the middle of our nose. So I want you to do the same thing to the front, this section right here. So let's do that. You can press Alt, Ctrl B, something like this, really tiny. Alt S, let's go inward. Actually, we must press E to extrude first. Alt S, let's go inward like this. And after that, we can press Alt, Shift Alt, and let's select all of those edge lines. You can press Ctrl E, and let's click on Edge Crease, click, and let's increase this factor to 1. And basically that's it.